Hello friends, it's Matt here from NoBossNinja.com. It is Sunday, so I guess the Sunday Funday podcast, maybe? It's a lazy Sunday for me, and I'm a little bit sick, so I'm trying my best. Sorry about my voice, but I'm going to talk about laziness because I feel lazy today, and it might be a little bit of a shorter podcast than normal just because I'm sick. Um, I am an incredibly lazy person by nature. You might be too, or maybe you're not. You'll still find this helpful if you're not, but if you are, you're going to really find this helpful because I'm going to talk about how I use systems to kind of counteract my lazy nature. A lot of people actually ask me, hey Matt, like how do you get so much done? And I know that sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. But it's funny to me that people feel that way because I, to myself, just feel like I'm just incredibly lazy. Like I know in my heart of hearts, I just want to be like sitting on the couch reading a book or doing something. I guess it just takes a lot to get me moving. I'm not the type of person who like is waking up at 4 a.m. and going to the gym and that sort of stuff. I'm not that kind of like type A personality. So if you're in the same boat as me, you'll probably find this helpful. I wrote down 4 things that I've kind of done in my life that have helped me a lot with counteracting my lazy tendencies. So here they are, and then we'll go through each of them. Number 1 is have a huge vision for your life. Number 2 is select your environment wisely. Number 3 is set up accountability systems. And number 4 is build momentum. So I'm going to go through each of those, give you some examples maybe. Pick a huge vision for your life means that you have to have a grand idea that's an interesting enough idea of what you want your life to be like that you're actually motivated to do something. So a lot of people they like the idea that they're going to have big goals, right? So they're like, okay, I have to have big goals. But that's, I think, the wrong way of approaching it. I think what you want is a big idea of just how you want your life to be, like a general idea of that. I think if you pick a specific goal, then you don't reach that goal and then you feel awful about it. So instead, it's better to pick an idea of how you want your life to be. So for example, for me, I want to be wealthy enough that I don't have to worry about money. I want to have the time and flexibility to explore things that interest me or do things like travel. I want to express myself artistically, and I want to have meaningful friendships. Like those are very broad things, but they're big goals. I mean, they're all really important and big things, and they're enough to motivate me into action rather than just kind of like going about my day-to-day life and hoping that things go well. I think, though, within those areas, like I'm not committed to this specific type of relationship or this specific type of business. Even my businesses, if they're going well, I realize they might not go well in a decade. So I have a system surrounding them. Like, for example, my system with business is lean into business as it's going well, try and build it up, and then always be experimenting with new things so that you can find other things that work or find things that work better. So kind of like always evolving. Like that's my system. I'm not necessarily 100% wed to a specific business. Obviously, I want my businesses to go really well and I work really, really hard at them. But if one fails, the whole like house of cards hasn't fallen down, right? I still have other things that I can do because I'm constantly working on new business ideas. You want to have a vision of your life that's big, but maybe not so specific that you're especially committed to one way or another of getting there. The second thing is you want to select your environment wisely. This is a huge thing for me. Like if I'm just at home and there's nothing that's pulling me out of the house, I'm definitely not going to have the momentum to be very productive. So selecting my environment wisely, you know, we all know this, right? If you're at home laying down, being lazy, you're not going to feel motivated or like you have energy. If there's a bunch of food around that's unhealthy, you're going to eat unhealthily. We all know this. So you want to find that middle ground. You don't necessarily want to put yourself around a lot of people because that might be distracting, at least for me. But I also have to just make sure that I get out of the house so that I do some work. And that might be different for you. You have to figure out what your own environment is. The third thing is you want to set up accountability systems, especially involving other people. And I think this is a really unique thing. A lot of people don't do this, but you have to have people that you're accountable to, because especially if you're lazy by nature, just being accountable to yourself probably isn't enough. So in my life, whether I know it or not, I've realized like I have things that I've set up that keep me accountable. For example, I have a manager, and you think, oh, your manager, that's your employee, right? Yeah, but I'm accountable to my manager, because if I don't do what's expected, or I have something that I don't deliver on, they're going to tell me about it, and I'm going to feel like I let them down. And it's sort of the same with my employees, the same with clients or customers. Like, I have to make sure the business keeps running. So that holds me accountable. My business partner is going to tell me if I'm not doing my job. So that'll kind of scare me into action. So all these things can keep you accountable. It's just like if you want to make sure you go to the gym, one of the best things you can do is to get a gym buddy, because when one of you's feeling tired, the other one won't, and vice versa, and you can make sure that each of you go to the gym, right? Sometimes I will actually pay someone well, I won't pay them, but I'll set up a bet with myself where if I don't do a specific system, I'll have to pay someone money. So I've had a friend where I've said, if I don't get up and write a blog article every day, I owe you $200, something like that. And I make it enough that it hurts a little bit, but not enough that if there's an emergency, that I'm screwed. And number 4 is build momentum, and you want to build this through what I call the minimum viable action. I like this concept a lot. I'm not sure if I came up with it or someone else, but the idea is you want to find the minimum thing that will get you moving in the direction. So my favorite example is going to the gym. If you can just set foot in the gym, you're going to tend to work out, even if it's just for a little bit. So you want your system to be something like, I'm going to go to the gym and just set foot in it. There was once where I went to the gym every day for a year. I haven't done it since, because I set up that minimum viable action, and then I actually put an accountability system into place where I had to pay that friend of mine money if I didn't go to the gym. So all I had to do was walk in the door, though. Like, I could walk in the door and then walk out, and that would be totally fine. But 9 times out of 10, I would walk in the door and then I would do some exercise, just because it was like, all right, I'm there, because actually getting to the gym was the hard part. So you can find this in anything that you're trying to do. If you build a system around a specific direction you're trying to move in, find that minimum viable action, and then make that the starting point, that the thing that you have to do every day. Instead of like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the gym for 3 hours and do all this workout, because I'm never going to do that, right? So, all right, the 4 things one more time. They are: pick a huge vision for your life, select your environment wisely, set up accountability systems, and build momentum through minimum viable actions. So that's helped me a lot with my laziness, and I hope it helps you too. I hope you find this helpful, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. That's a big thank you to me. If you're listening, just go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. This is Matt at No Boss Ninja, and you can find more out about me and about what I do at nobossninja.com. All right, I'll see everyone tomorrow.